Yo, happy Saturday, everyone. Can you hear me? Didn't see any comments about not hearing me, so that's cool. Gene Callie says Marty for president. Thank you so much. Really excited about the current employment I have. So it's not my goal. Thank you so much for having the confidence in me. Everyone doing great out there? Yeah, the what is it? The thumbnail. More surprises. Basically, I do a live stream every Saturday unless I'm on an airplane or something. Sometimes I'm traveling on a Saturday and I can't do the live stream. Looking at your comments. Yeah, I have played with Phil Lesh, JTY. I think if you just searched my name and Phil Lesh on YouTube, I think there's a one out there. One of my best friends growing up is Phil Lesh's production manager. And anyway, that's led to some cool adventures there. Yeah. Oh, but anyway, yeah, the thumbnail, right? Every Saturday I do a live stream. So I try and come up with little topics. So I at least am covering one specific topic. And then we let, the live stream unfold, read comments, maybe answer questions, or cover something that you guys want to see covered. Josh Norco, thank you for the super chat. That's right. There are these things called super chats in here. You kind of can tip me. So anyway, yes, surprises. So still have updates, and this is always a great opportunity to kind of plug my stuff and whatever's going on in the immediate future. And so August 22nd, and you can see back there, beautifully framed underneath that lamp. I like that a little bit. Yeah. Can I grab it? That is my Epiphone ES335 that will be coming out for sale August 22nd. So, little less than a month away. If you follow my newsletter at martymusic.com, I'll let you know when that is going to be available. It's going to come with a hard shell case, $100 credit towards Marty Music, any of the courses that I have. And so, yes, please check that out. Follow my newsletter at martymusic.com. The Epiphone release, Epiphone ES335. I'm really excited about it. So excited about it. And to celebrate the release on September 1st, I'm going to be doing a live show with a full band and a bunch of amazing special guests. Going to be giving away one of the 335s, going to be giving away a Boss Katana. A few weeks back, a clip randomly showed up that a lot of people shared with me of Joe Bonamassa wearing a trucker hat with a picture of me on it. And I had nothing to do with it, and nor was it a hat that I even sell. So it was very flattering and very fun to see that. I still don't actually know the story of Joe Bonamassa wearing, how he came to the possession of a trucker hat with a picture of me on it, and even wearing it just blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. But so because of that, I went and figured out how to make those trucker hats. And Joe Bonamassa told me I had to also. So I don't know how he got his hat. It's just like a custom hat. But I'm going to do what Joe Bonamassa says. So I made some trucker hats, and they're not available online yet. But at the show, September 1st in Nashville at Analog, those hats will be available as well. And also the gig, I'm going to be, playing and all that stuff, but I'm going to meet everybody there. It's not like a huge venue. So I'm going to be able to hang out with everyone, meet everybody, totally hang, interact, and thank the people for showing up. Now, as far as cool special guests, I've got an amazing young guitar player named Grace Bowers, who you've seen on my channel. Also, she's just kind of all over the YouTube or the social media guitar world. Yeah, it's a baseball hat. She lives in Nashville, and so she's going to open up the show, and she's just fantastic. So that's really cool. And also, she's got that young, vibrant energy, and I want those young, up and coming guitar players to be inspired and hopefully show up to the show as well. And then also we've got two of my absolute favorite guitar players and good friends of mine, but literally two of my favorite guitar players as well. One of which being Jared James Nichols, who's just fantastic. And then also my other amazing friend and just one of the greatest, most tasty, insane guitar players that's alive today, Guthrie Trapp. And they're both so awesome. So I'm excited to have them. And then as well as Grace Bowers opening up the show and hopefully sitting in as well. And then there's a couple of secret guests one huge legend, huge legend could possibly show up, but I don't want to promise that one. But that would be an insane surprise. Huge legend. But then also, I invited another good friend of mine, Nikki Bloom, who's just an incredible singer, who lives in Nashville and who sings with Phil Lesh a lot. I've invited her to come sing as well. And then I've got my own band with my friend Jamie singing, the amazing rhythm section from the Pitch Meeting Band, which is just amazing. And so, yeah, and I'm going to, call a couple of people up from the audience to come. Just, I haven't planned who, but I'm going to just pull some people up to jam as well. And yeah, so it's all at Analog, which is this great club that's at the basement of this really nice hotel in downtown Nashville. So with that, and I might do some backup singing, but when you have amazing singers for friends, that's who I use. I use my favorite singers because I'm just very below average. But I can play a 6-string. But yeah, so that's going to be September 1st. But then let's see, we've had 3 episodes. Is it 3? It's going by so fast, of my very own television show. I saw someone comment there about it. Ethan Davidson with the super chat. Thanks so much. But yeah, folks, I've got a TV show on Access TV. On your cable, check your cable, see if you have Access TV, AXS TV, and it's Marty Music Guitar Academy. And so basically we've got these thematic episodes that break down classic guitar songs and riffs. I think last week, it's Tuesdays at 8 Central, and last Tuesday it was, I believe, 80s rock stuff, and the one before that, one was Campfire Classics, one was summer songs that remind you of summer. But so this next coming Tuesday, we've got another one coming at 8 Central. And, Ozzy Farrow, you don't get that TV show or that station. I apologize, but if you watch me on YouTube, you're getting all the stuff, But yeah, it's Access TV. I don't the number of the station I wouldn't know. What channel is the show on? AXS TV. And yeah, it's a music centric channel. They show a lot of old concert footage on that station, so it's definitely music centric. Sammy Hagar had a show on there that was kind of like a road trip show. Drew Schoenbeck, what's up? Maybe. Nathan Barr, I would love to come to the UK. I've been before. If you're familiar with Justin Sanderco, I did a guitar clinic with him there in the UK. I love it. I'd love to go. I mean, I have to have something to go for, but I would really like that. Yeah. So anyway, Tuesdays is my show. TV show on Access TV. August 22nd is my Epiphone ES335 coming out. And then to celebrate that with a bunch of amazing musicians, I'm going to be doing a show September 1st at Analog in Nashville. And so that's a lot of stuff. Now, while I'm here, I've got my guitar. I haven't played much. Is there any topics, while I have you here, that you'd like to see me cover? You know, I kind of got all my plugs out. Just be sure to follow my newsletter at martymusic.com. Pam, yes, it's just coffee. That's a common joke, though. What's in the coffee? What is it really just coffee? Ha ha ha. It's just coffee. It's only 1:15 here in the afternoon, folks. Modes. Jack with the Polyphia requests. I'd have to learn some, so it won't be today. Hilarious modes. Well, one thing is, I'll talk about that Pink Floyd progression. How about that? So B minor to A major. So it's some type of B minor key, B minor scale. And then G, D, E minor, back to B minor. So it's all B minor related. So you'd immediately have the B minor pentatonic. But if I looked deeper into those so all those fit into the natural B minor, which is also the D major scale. If you called it by a mode, it would be B Aeolian. But even when you're approaching modal stuff, the pentatonic is still kind of like the great outline. And also, by the way, an EV Yoga or YVE Yoga with the super chat. Thank you so much. So you could take that progression, by the way, and highly recommend having a looper pedal. You can just loop that progression. B minor to A major. G, D, E minor, B minor. So there it is. I could just plug in B minor pentatonic, and that's mostly what sounds good anyway. But knowing that it's the natural minor scale or B Aeolian, what's cool about the minor pentatonic with a minor progression is the modes, the pentatonics underneath. So without the half steps, if I take B Aeolian, also known as B minor, which is the same notes as D major, if I took the half steps away, here's what I'm left with. The minor pentatonic. So the strongest modal note, because it's in both minor modes, it's the same, would be what's called the 9 or the 2. And so in this key, it's a C sharp note. But you could take the minor pentatonic and add that extra note. It's not the full mode, but it's... And when you get into those extra notes that aren't from the pentatonic, they're more emotional notes in the scale. That's the B flat pentatonic scale over that. That's what that sounds like, Guitar Nerd. That was your request. That was it. But so adding that 9 is just one extra color, but then the other one's even darker in that. And that is which isn't in a lot of classic rock and blues. It's the 6 of the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So here's that 6 tone in there a lot. So then if I just go take all those half steps out and just do the minor pentatonic with some blues notes, it has a little less dramatic sound to it. And sometimes you want that. All pentatonic. Now you can mix and match, but just know, like when you get into the modal stuff, there, I guess, dramatic or just more emotional tension in there. Sometimes more than you want. Then you can get really wacky with the like harmonic minor scale. But I wouldn't like go crazy learning those fancier scales over practicing the pentatonic scale, honestly. Even though I did, I can tell you 30 years later that pentatonic is still going to be the most valuable. Let's see here. I've played for about 30 years. Jacob History asked how long I've been playing. About 30 years, but it's really how much time you've put in, not how long it's been since you started. Because my dad started playing guitar, 60 years ago, but he still only knows like 3 or 4 chords. So it's more about how much time you put in and the right stuff that you've practiced. How long to practice? I'd say the best guitar players are not, or the guys that became the best, never, well, I can't say never ever, but I'd say the majority of them never timed their practice routines or said, I have to practice a certain amount of time. I'll use Joe Bonamassa as an example. Joe Bonamassa, his parents had to tell him to stop playing guitar to go be productive or have a little variety in his life and go outside and ride his bike or go to a friend's house and play video games. Whatever it was, he couldn't put the guitar down, and he got as good as he did because he was obsessed with it. I mean, yeah, there's natural ability, but also natural ability helps you get good at something quick. So maybe you enjoy that you're good at it and that makes you obsessed. It's all related, right? But I would say, you're not going to ever really, have to time yourself. The most obsessed people just want to play as much as possible. However, in my beginner guitar lessons, I would say 5 minutes a day. You got to practice 5 minutes a day. And the real key to the 5 minutes a day concept, especially when you're a beginner, everything is new, everything is fresh and a challenge, doesn't really sound good yet. 5 minutes is not intimidating. And the real trick with learning anything is repetition. So when I'm saying you must play 5 minutes a day, what I'm really saying is you have to play every day more than the time. And I just pick a really short amount of time because it's the least intimidating amount of time. But what happens is if you go for 5 minutes a day and it's really hard in the beginning, as long as you're doing it every single day, you'll have a little breakthrough, and that 5 minutes may become an hour or half hour because you had this little discovery or light bulb moment where all of a sudden you're able to play something that sounds kind of cool, and that motivates you to learn another thing that's kind of cool, right? So it can start with 5 minutes a day, but as far as like wanting to be good at guitar, I'd say it's more important to want to play all the time just because you enjoy it, because then it doesn't feel as much like hard work because you enjoy it so much. You enjoy that little bit of challenge. You enjoy accomplishing it and then setting a new goal. And so that's how I think of it. But if you're a beginner, 5 minutes a day, because I want you to pick the guitar up every day. And also, you have to play through the bad sounding. You don't go from picking up a guitar and then having it sound perfect. You have to like pick up the guitar, play some stuff. It sounds crappy. You keep playing it even though it sounds crappy, and then it starts to sound a little less crappy and a little less crappy. Yeah, so Alias Valhalla in the background, that's my Epiphone ES335. And then this is my Gibson ES335. Now, a Gibson ES335 is made in the American plant, mostly by hand, whereas the Epiphones are made overseas, and Epiphones have never been better, especially with the more modern technology of automation. So the Epiphones have never been better, but with the Gibson, and it's about 5 times more expensive, you're getting an American handmade guitar. They're literally gluing it by hand. They're painting it by hand, everything, right? It's all American made. And the Epiphone is factory, automated made, but it's still, all these great components and parts. So you're getting a more affordable guitar. But you're not getting that more custom, like kind of handmade guitar. It's manufactured. But yeah, that's coming out August 22nd. September 1st, the big show. And I'll be filming the show, so I'll have hopefully some really fun footage and stuff to share after that. Have I ever tried a rubber bridge guitar? No, I have not. I don't. Jack says, "What's my favorite song?" I don't have a favorite song. Harrison Ford, and the Wookiee Trio. I'm a big Harrison Ford fan. Michael Dussel says, "Are you playing the Boss Katana live as well?" I am actually, and if you look up on YouTube. I think YouTube. I think my own channel, but other stuff too. But I played with Jared James Nichols, and we played Freebird live with a bunch of other epic guitar players up there. Zach Myers, Jared James Nichols, obviously, and Richie Faulkner. And they were all playing through giant stacks, and I was playing through a little Boss. I was playing through this exact 100-watt Boss Katana, and it absolutely, I mean, all the amps are mic'd, but even with the stage volume and everything, it absolutely cut through. I was pretty amazed. So, because I'm sponsored by them, I've been working with Boss for a few years now. Um, I started using the Katana with the live performances, and I wasn't sure it would be enough, and it's absolutely been enough. And one of my favorite things about the Boss Katana, which isn't like it's a very simple thing about the Boss Katana. Hey, Scott Routine. Hope you're well. Thank you for the comment. Looper recommendation is Basic Boss RC1. Very affordable. Oh, but I'm leaving you guys hanging. One of my favorite things about the Boss Katana, and so simple, is the clean channel, some reverb, and pretty much just all the EQ at 12 o'clock. If it's a single coil guitar, I might turn the presence down more than a humbucker guitar. I might turn the treble down a hair, but they're all pretty much just at 12 o'clock. And that's just the clean tone, right? What I really like about the Katana is the clean with pedals. So even like it's got great effects, and I got those patches, and if you don't have, or you're on a budget, you can't afford a bunch of different pedals and stuff, all these great patches are in here, and it's just truly a value. But like as a gigging musician, I'm never using, like when I'm actually on stage, I'm using just the clean channel with a pedal board. So only using pedals to get the different sounds. And so the clean channel on this takes pedals amazingly well. So all I'm using right today is I'm using my Schwarzenegger overdrive, my own overdrive pedal. Here it is. So that's just pedal. Then I also have my I'll be back delay pedal. And I was doing that for that Pink Floyd. But if you add a little, just like a one repeat with the delay, you hear how it just slightly repeats once. When you mix it in with licks, it makes the sound bigger. You hear how you couldn't really hear those repeats while I was playing, but it kind of trails off. Like that. So all pedals, and I love it. Any San Diego SoCal gigs coming up, says Mr. S. Mr. S, where are you in SoCal? I don't, I'm not looking to be performing all the time or like having shows all the time. I have to work hard on them, promote them, pay the musicians. Like there's just a ton of work with it. I really enjoy it, but it's not like the biggest, most important thing for me. So I'm just really looking to do them like every month or two, I have had a really good offer to play at a really nice place in Laguna Beach, California, and I just haven't gotten around to doing it. I've a lot of things going on. But once I get the Nashville show out of the way, I would like to book another show after that and then promote that for months and months, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, Laguna Beach, I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to, I'll look into that. And then every once in a while, I do sit in with bands at the Belly Up in North San Diego. But if you follow me on like Instagram and Facebook, I usually let people know anything like that that's coming up. But for now, September 1st in Nashville is my most important next thing. And Nashville's a great city with great restaurants, great music. Even if you hated country music, which it's not my first and foremost favorite genre, Nashville is just absolutely amazing. Amazing place, amazing musicians, music everywhere, music culture, not just country. It's really great. And then the company that helps me manage my channel, called Maiden Network, they're based in Nashville. So for like about the last 10 years, I had been basically taking little trips to Nashville to work closer with the company because I'm mostly working in, making videos by myself in San Diego. But anyway, so that is how Nashville started for me. It was actually just a company that started managing the Marty music channel. And then that led to me making trips and meeting people like Guthrie Trapp, Jared James Nichols, and then starting to work with Gibson Guitar, who's based in Nashville as well. Pretty natural kind of place, for me to be spending time. Any tips on getting my band noticed with gigs, etc.? Well, I don't know. I'd have to know more information because it's like that's a very broad thing. Like, are you in high school or are you a dad band? But anyway, that comment makes it seem like maybe you're younger. But I got to tell you, it's a totally different world than when I started, so I can't give you advice for what worked for me. Stefan Ricklam, big fan of Tom Bukovac. I don't know him personally, but because him and Guthrie are good friends, that we just kind of like are 3 degrees of separation away. But we are not acquaintances. We haven't met yet. I know him, and I'm sure he's heard about me just from Guthrie or whatever. But we don't actually know each other. But I'm sure I'll meet him at some point. Getting your band noticed. So in 2023, you guys, like, you should basically be making video content every single day and putting yourself out there. I mean, that would be my advice. And the algorithms for Reels, Shorts, and TikTok, if you're not noticed, those algorithms actually benefit you because you have a better chance of randomly just having a video take off than in the olden days where you had to kind of build it off of search. There's pluses and minuses to that algorithm. The minus being someone like me has a big subscribership and all that, and they're kind of taking away the power of like notifying your subscribers to watch you. And they basically, the algorithm kind of takes power away from the individual users, which makes sense for corporate profit. But if you have no following, putting videos up on Reels, Shorts, TikToks, all that, you do have, like, you're kind of taking a swing every day. The best dad rock song to learn? Well, now we're all older. Like, I'm an older dad now, so like I guess it depends. It's like it could be Blink-182 now. But for me, I think of dad rock as Tom Petty. Like, dad rock, I would think of think of that as one. Or like, I'll stop the world and melt with you. I'll stop the world and melt with you. I see the difference, and it's getting better all the time. Ha ha ha. Okay, a few shout outs. Redneck Boys, Sleep Swimming. Have I heard of a genre called shoegaze? Yes, I have. Master Dot. Favorite guy is me. Thank you. Everlong. I love Everlong. Paul Kelly. Do I know Paul Kelly? It sounds familiar. I'm not sure. Ed Henshaw, Rob Oviat Sr., Josh Norco. What up? Jacob Vasquez, Mr. S. What he's talking about? Pat Finnerty. I do know him. Mark Knopfler. Dire Straits, Tom Petty. Yeah. Pat Finnerty. I like his content. This is a Gibson ES335. And behind me is the Epiphone version of the ES335 coming out August 22nd. Be sure to follow my newsletter, martymusic.com. RJ Ombres, what song is the best for beginners? One of the great beginner songs is Boulevard of Broken Dreams. Hey Joe by Hendrix. Both of those are good. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, they usually tune their guitar down a half step. That would be tricky, but for a beginner, but it's all the like beginner chords you would need. And Hey Joe is all the, combination of more beginner chords you need. Someone said, Shield 400 said, any Neil Young song is pretty easy. That is true. In fact, when I was taking my earliest guitar lessons, one of the very first things he had me learn that we practiced together was Heart of Gold by Neil Young. Simon Schlager, what brand are my hats? I wore Brixton hats for a very long time, but for the last 2 years, I have been wearing, and I'm not sponsored or anything, so they're getting a free plug. Gorin Brothers, Goorin, Gorin Brothers. They're American, nice American made hats. Neil Young is great. I've seen him a few times. Maxell, Basement. I don't know any songs by Basement. Hey, Greg Levinson, Robert Strombach, what a loop equipment today? Very easy. Boss, RC1, simple stomp box loop station. Althea, I love Althea. John Mayer does a really good job on that one. I have to go over it again, but I know the basic chords. I have to go over that one again. It's been a minute. They're not all saved in there. Good, simple Pink Floyd song. That's the one everyone learns, Wish You Were Here. Plus, it's got some great stuff in there. If you learned Wish You Were Here, you'd be able to play Wonderwall and a bunch of other songs, too. Plus, it gives you the single note vibe, which isn't that hard. So that's a good one. That'd be mine. But I think Breathe is too... E minor to A. So E minor to A major, you can practice that, and that's very Pink Floyd there as well. Um, then if you go to the power chord side of thing, yeah, like TNT. That's a great first song to learn. I love all Led Zeppelin. Dalt Ray, who inspired me to play guitar? Well, I loved music for a long time and bands and watched MTV and listened to the radio and bought albums and stuff. I was super into music as a listener and fan of music growing up. And then I saw they've gotten a lot of plugs lately from me, but in about 1992, I saw, and this is before the internet, before everyone had the internet and cell phones. So it was more a word of mouth kind of world where you would discover things through friends and word of mouth and tapes, sharing tapes and CDs and all that stuff. So around 92, I think it was, I saw Santana because I was a music fan but didn't play guitar. And I saw a very young up and coming band that was not known yet called Blues Traveler open for Santana. And they were like, a younger band doing this kind of improvisational, psychedelic blues rock, long solos. And what later became what's called jam bands, but that term did not exist either. I'm a huge Trey fan as well. But so I saw Blues Traveler, and for whatever reason, it just inspired me to buy harmonica, not a guitar. But because I bought a harmonica and then spent like the summer before my senior year of high school, just playing harmonica in the car, playing along with albums, like not in the right key or anything, but every once in a while finding a little lick that worked, and got a couple little harmonica licks going. And so from that, I started being able to play harmonica with my buddies that were good at guitar. So then instead of just watching my friends who could play guitar, like be in bands and be good, I could actually be part of it instead of just watching from the sidelines. So that got me a step closer to like being with my friend musicians as opposed to being on the outside of it. And then from there, my friends started showing me guitar stuff. And I was like, once it was my friends showing me, I was like, oh, this is actually coming to me really easily. And so then I got all the basic chords and even started to get the main pentatonic and bar chords down. And then from there, I was like, oh man, I've been missing out this whole time. The guitar's not as hard as I thought. So then I started to seek out guitar teachers, and I just went to a basic music store, took some 3 months of like fundamental lessons before I went away to college. And then when I went away to college, I met more musicians and played nonstop. I didn't go to college to do music because I was a beginner kind of at the time, but it took over my life. And about halfway through college, I switched to music major. And funny enough, strangely, Blues Traveler's mentor ended up being one of my mentors at my college, named John O'Manson. It was a very weird coincidence because it was Santa Fe, New Mexico. It had nothing to do with New York City, where they were from. So, but that is just, I always give Blues Traveler credit because it inspired me to like pick up an instrument, which then led me down this path. So I didn't want to become exactly like Blues Traveler. However, they were a big influence on me. But it inspired me to play music and find my own, or try and find my own thing. And then where I sit now with you guys watching this is just the results of me continuing to try and support myself with music, right? So I worked at music stores. I taught guitar lessons. I played gigs. I did group lessons. I taught elementary school music. I did all these different things just to try and make a living with something that I enjoyed doing, and enjoyed sharing the information, teaching. I enjoyed it. And so now I sit here with this channel, and all these things the last 15 years have happened all just as a result of one step after the other. And I had no grand plan to create this YouTube channel, nothing at all. It just, this natural progression happened, and now I'm trying to keep it going. So, thank you guys for the great, yeah. Oh yeah. Walk away, maybe then shake hands. I lied and told her I loved her. I know the first like 3 Blues Traveler albums. I can pretty much play every note, not on harmonica, but I know all the songs. Mr. S, you say Grateful Dead, terrific songwriters, but some of their songs seem too loose, out of sync compared to, say, the Allman Brothers. Was it deliberate, chemically induced, etc.? Yeah, it's all of it. One issue with that is I think probably the Allman Brothers have been just as loose, not on their recordings. And yeah, chemicals is a huge part of it. But also just like pushing the boundaries. And no one pushed the boundaries of improvisation more than the Dead. They were the most over the edge of the cliff. So that's why you hear that. But another big part of the Dead always sounding, or you thinking of the Dead as sounding kind of messier and looser, which is true. The issue with that, though, is that, like, thousands of Grateful Dead, like basically every Grateful Dead show was recorded live. Whereas not every Allman Brothers show is recorded live. So when you hear the Allman Brothers, you more often than not hear Allman Brothers studio albums where they were not so messed up in that moment to put an album together that sounds nice and tight. Whereas a lot of the Grateful Dead you hear is them, pushing over the edge of the cliff of improvisation live. Most of the Dead that's getting played is live. So it's just kind of like, it was more about the adventure and the improvisation and true improvisation where you're just trying to just let it play through you as opposed to not thinking too much. And it's just a different thing. Allman Brothers are a lot bluesier. And in the blues, you're playing more of a structure. But the main thing is that there's just so much Dead shows that have been recorded live, and that they're just kind of totally out there pushing it and playing some crappy shows too that are recorded. Sometimes they're playing better than other times. But yeah, they're definitely different. I mean, Allman Brothers are Southern dudes that grew up listening to traditional blues from the South. And the Grateful Dead formed in Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco, where the hippie movement was created. So it's just a totally different thing. But because of that San Francisco Haight-Ashbury thing, they discovered LSD, psychedelics. Allman Brothers were into that too, but there's just something about the San Francisco crazy hippie 60s thing that just made them what they are. And way more folky, bluegrass, country, jug band inspired, whereas the Allman Brothers are more blues and rock and roll. Oh, thank you, Birds, Bees, and Trees. Grace Bowers is definitely a psychedelic blues rock player. She's young. She's only 16 or 17, and she mostly plays in SG. She works with Gibson. She actually learned in the beginning from my videos, but she's out there sitting in with people, doing her own shows. She's doing all kinds of stuff. She doesn't have an album out, and she's not a singer, so you can't look her up on Spotify. But if you follow Grace Bowers on Instagram, I think that's where she puts most of her stuff. All right, that's it. We went an hour. It was a lot of talking, so appreciate you guys. Hope to see some people September 1st. Guitar comes out August 22nd. Tuesdays is the TV show. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you again. Put my guitar down.